here is this young girl having her birthday. Having her birthday in quarantine. And our parents try they might with the balloon and everything. It's just not the same. Graduating online. Just not the same. No party. These are rites of passage that we were missed out on, that we don't know the impact yet. But we surely are seeing a lack of, the absence of socialization and guidance as we return back to school. You see it. Right? There are these little things, these teaching things, events that have not happened. So moving forward, and that was me and what the pandemic has done to us, where we're at, and even trying to think about how do we manage the next pandemic, God help us if there is one. All right? Certainly we are now more prepared than ever, but it will still have an impact on our mental wellness. We're going to be talking about 6 strategies for innovation. We are going to be talking about 5 strategies for inclusion. All right? So moving forward, now I had a video, and thank goodness it wasn't playing because it probably would have taken up too much time. So hands up who have read Stephen Covey, 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey. All right? So if you haven't read it, it's a very old book. All right? It's old now. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits. I'm going right to habit 7. All right? I'm going straight to habit 7. And habit 7 for Stephen Covey says, sharpen the saw. And there's a story that is told about 2 neighbors, and each had a tree to cut down, right? And they were going to do it the next day. Neighbor number 1 got up and said, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to beat my neighbor, I'm going to cut down the tree before him, I'm going to start early. Look, him don't even wake up yet. I am better than him, I am stronger than him, and I'm going to cut down that tree. And he started from 5 o'clock in the morning, start cut the tree. Neighbor 2 gets up around, I don't know about you, but I'm a late bloomer. I don't like morning. So I'm rising about 8 in the morning. Everybody's like, oh, no, right? 8. I'm not outside, so neighbor 2 goes out with a cup of tea. I says, neighbor, what are you doing? Are you up already? He goes, yes, I'm cutting up my tree. Look, I've reached this far. That time the tree about quarter way cut down. Right? I've reached this far and you haven't started yet. Get to it, man. And he's like, okay, but first I have to sharpen my saw. And he said, but you don't have no time for that. I'm going to beat you. He says, I'm going to stop. I'm going to sharpen my saw. And he stopped. And he put down his tea and he sharpened his saw. Sharpened his saw for a good hour. And he's like, by the time the other gentleman was even further into his tree. Right? So neighbor 2 is ready to cut down his tree now. Goes outside. And because his saw is so sharp, zoops, tree cut down. Neighbor 1 reached halfway. Yeah? What happened? He didn't spend the time to sharpen his saw. So I'm working. Yeah, I'm reaching somewhere, but not as fast and efficient like neighbor number 2. Yeah? And when you look at this picture here, look at the innovation. Remember wheels? Wheel was an innovation, right? And here are 2 cavemen pulling a box of rocks with a square tire. Look at it. And one caveman says, I've invented wheels. Here you go. And they said, we don't have time for that. We are too busy. No thanks. Look at that. Look at that. Sometimes we are so intent of doing things, taking care of our mental wellness one way, that we're not looking for another way. Yeah? So we're going to move forward because Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's like I'm having a mental problem, so let me go to this webinar. And you sit in the webinar and you say, but I don't feel better. What is it doing for you? Hey, you need to do something differently. Sometimes, I'm not saying that sometimes you need to go to a doctor or a psychiatrist, but sometimes in the mental health webinar, they say, oh, you must write a journal. I not write no journal, y'all. Right? What's the next one? Oh, you need to get up and exercise. No, man, me too busy for exercise. Right? And they say other things like, okay, change your diet. I love food too much. Yeah? And so all the strategies are being said, and you're sitting in the webinar, but no action. And the webinar now work. The strategy not working. Right? And so where do we get these notions and ideas of what is good for us and what should be done? I like this quote that says, the moment a little boy is concerned with which is a jay, bird, and which is a sparrow, he can no longer see the birds or hear them sing. The innocence of children, they're happy, ain't they? They're so happy because they don't know what clock a strike. Hard life soon take them. Like when my teenage adult, whatever, in between adult, whatever daughter is talking about how big they are now and need to make certain, say, they just smile and watch. Life soon catch up with you. Yes? Yeah? Right? So, just wish them children. Yeah. And they'll find out. Wish them children. It's called retribution. All right. Now, when children have an innocence and a happiness, they're less stressed. But when they start to fill up with shoulds and what needs to happen, and they say school is a disruptor of life. We're telling them what they need to be interested in and what they need to do. That's debatable. Of course, I'm in education, right? And so we have corrupted a simple life. My grandmother lived to be 103 years old. I tell people and then she was up and about, walking about, going to the bathroom on her own, doing a lot of things by herself at 103. She and my grandfather had a long 60-odd years marriage. And we all thought that was such a love story that when one goes, the other one would follow. And so when my grandfather died, 91, I believe, right? We thought she's going to go next. But you know what? She had dementia. Yeah. So my theory, if you all want to do a research, my theory, she has no clue. So people who are less stressed and don't have the memory of all of these things, they live longer. Stress kills. Stress kills. Yeah? Because we're thinking about, I should be sad. I have to go after. I have to believe you and me. You see this thing called the mind? You see this thing called the mind? You have to take care of it. You have to choose to be happy. Right? And I'm going back to taking a moment. Because we say, what is this mindfulness thing? Close your eye, close your eye. This not going to work, right? We don't do it. We don't practice it. And when we try it, we're in the middle of high emotions or a crisis. We're going to try it then. And we haven't perfected it. You need to do it when you're calm. And you need to do it when you're upset. It needs to become a habit. Right? And so when you have these strategies, you really have to take them on. So mindfulness, breathing exercises, right? You have to pivot. You have to do things differently. And that was the first one. The second is turning off the always on culture. How are we normalizing waking up at 5 in the morning? Because when I get a phone call, you're lucky I answer the phone. All right, but when I get a phone call at 6 in the morning and somebody's going to say, it sounds like I just wake you up. And I'm like, yeah, you did. Well, you're lucky. I've been up from 4 this morning and I wash and I clean and I'm like, well, okay. You see, the thing is, I studied transactional analysis, so I go, how can I help you this morning? I'm not going down that road in that transaction at all, right? And so they don't even know that they're normalizing an always on culture. You're lucky. I've been up, or I had to be up till what o'clock at night. And you notice the narratives that people talk about being always on. You sent me, somebody said, I sent you an email at 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't mean for you to respond to it, right? But, right? And the person says, no, man, I did see it. And they responded, why? Why? But I've been guilty. Only if I'm up, right? I love my sleep. But it's incredibly easy to get caught up in an activity trap. And I hear the buzz because you all know this is true. You all know about this always-on culture, right? My first BlackBerry was like, I can get my email on my phone? Oh, my goodness. Did I know that it was going to come back to haunt me? No. No, I can get my email on the phone. I don't think I want it anymore. Right? And that's a part of the always-on culture. And I think sometimes some countries, and I'm not going to say Jamaica, I just want you to think about it. You can disagree. Some cultures are behind on what it is to be productive. And so when developed countries were all about the BlackBerry and being on and being at the office all the time and being busy and all of that, they realized that it was not productive, and they started to talk about mental wellness. We're just coming there. And some people finding it very hard to let go of the fact that the employee that answers first is the most productive. All right? And that's not necessarily true. All right? And for me, what is important for my team, are you okay? I have a wonderful team. My team at the JTC is only 7 people. Master teacher, professional development, and mentorship. And the things we get done in 1 year, I tell you, I am amazed at them every day. But we're happy people. And happy people do good work. Good. Taking care of yourself or oneself in a world where overexhaustion is romanticized. Oh, busy, too busy, always busy. Show up late, running all the time. It takes courage to change that narrative. It takes courage. Because people are going to say, lazy, she lazy. Yeah, they don't want to. Why, them weak? Yes, it's going to take courage. I am not going to kid you. All right? Moving forward, you see that elephant trying to balance on the beach ball? You see the elephant trying to balance on the beach ball? We have to find balance. We have to find balance in managing our whole self-care. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think I have it, right? But it is the spiritual, the work life, the financial, the exercise, the gardening, all kind of life. And they have this thing on internet that I don't like. It's called the wheel of wellness. And in that wheel of wellness, there are balanced proportions for work, finances. Is that really realistic? Because for me, sometimes if I do that, some shifting going on. Because at times, depending on what's happening in your work environment, you need to work late. Hey, it is what it is, right? You do need to work late. But as when you shift and work late today, right, you have to shift and take care of your family tomorrow. Do you understand that? It's not always taking care of my family, because if you're taking care of the family all the time and not taking care of work, you're going to lose the work. You have to find the balance. We're always getting back to that pie, you know. It's just that the pie is not static. Yeah? The pie doesn't stay like that all the time. It's hard. It's pretty hard to balance. Right? And health is not a destination. Mental wellness is not a destination. I reach here today, I might not be there tomorrow. So you're always striving to find that balance with new strategies. And my favorite saying, fall 7 times, stand up 8. You will fall. Sometimes if finances go, and if your finances go down, you can't sleep at night. Let's talk some truth here. There are relationships that bring us down. There are finances that bring us down. And there's work that brings us down sometimes. Right? Let's find where the gaps are and fix them. Sunken cost fallacy is about that. Right? I have invested, you know how long me and this man married? Me and this man married, whatever. Me not letting him go so. But it'll kill you, the relationship will kill you. Yeah? Or you are in this job and you deserve that promotion. If you don't get it, you see? Yeah? Trouble. And you don't realize how that affects your mental health. Right? Sometimes you have to let go the anchor. Let it go. Right? Sometimes you have to let go. You see the ladies playing the violin on a sinking ship. You're going to go down with the ship. Down with the relationship. Down with the promotion. Right? What you're fighting for. You should be fighting for your mental health. Right? And yes, reflective practice. This again, we are reflective practitioners. I tell you, I had a focus group with some teachers, and I asked them, how many of you, we gave a strategy about journaling. How many of you kept a journal? Out of 15 of them, maybe 2. I'm like, hey, these are strategies that we're saying works. Why aren't you using them? Right? And also, are you talking to your accountability partner? Right? Now, when you ignore things like reflecting on how you see yourself differently from how others see you, you end up in problems. And I know I have a picture of somebody up there, and I want to tell you, Jamaicans really need to stop bothering this lady. Because she's talented. She has talent. Yeah? And somebody needs to be supporting instead of criticizing. Right? But one, she needs to have people around her who she can trust. The potential that would come from that will surprise you. Yeah? Right? So there was journaling. And then there's journaling on the phone. And so the last one for innovation is taking care of you. Right? You have Apple Watch, Fitbit. You have things now. My phone has, the amount of things on there to keep me. It has an app that tells me to breathe. Say, breathe now. Stop. Breathe. Right? No, not that. I can well imagine. Right? But you see, gentlemen, because I have Flow on my phone too, they can tell me when to breathe and when not to. All right? And Flow is your monthly app for a female. Right? Foodicate. What am I eating? What to put in? How many calories? Right? You all have these apps. Are you using them? But inclusion now. Now, understand, we have to pivot from I can do this by myself, I've got this, to understanding that you need people. And people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. Yes. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. Right? We have to dismantle mental health stigmas. And I want to say, very important, if you don't get anything out of this, but get this. We are our own problem. Because when somebody in our area, in our workplace is having a mental health, but she can't manage, she can't manage. And so Ruby Brown wrote a book on professional hurt. It's a book for leaders. How just narratives and not looking out for the next and crab in a barrel syndrome. She don't mention that in the book. I mention it. Right? Hurts people. Hurt. And we should never glorify hurting others. And how we glorify, me put her in her place, you see? Yeah? Fix our business. And I feel it too as a leader, because when my employee is not towing the line, they come, what you going to do about it? I said, well, I've already spoken. I don't think you're hard enough. I'm good. I'm good. You can't let people compromise your core values. My core value is teamwork. Everybody on my team is valuable. I intend for all of them to feel that. Right? And so, not because you're towing the line, I'm going to make you feel less than. Be careful. We all have bad days, and you want to be in a space where you can vent. You want your workplace to be a safe place. Manage your cognitions, your distortions. This person don't like me, them out to get me. Nah, it could be true. Move on. Right? It will ruin you. Manage imposter syndrome. Right? And so there are some persons who don't want to get up and stand up without making a presentation until they're well prepared, even though they have the knowledge, because they're afraid of making a mistake. And now they're going to find out I'm an imposter. I don't know much about mental wellness. Right? So I have to prepare. Right? You have to guard against that. Right? And that's for leaders. And you have to rise above cultural practices. What we say a leader looks like. What we say power looks like. And power can be silent. And power can be caring. But is that a part of our culture? So you have to dismantle the cultural practices that harm and not heal. We have superstitious beliefs in Jamaica. You get up in the morning, your left eye jump, something will happen, something bad will happen. Yeah, you now come out a road. Yeah, mango tree, dreams, all of that in the work. Me they dream this, right? You have to be careful because it plays on your mental wellness. Inclusion, last point on inclusion. You have to learn from all you encounter. I had a group of students, and I wanted to know how were they managing the pandemic. And I chose the group that said they were fine. They were doing well. And they were flourishing in COVID. How do you do it? And they gave all of these information. I'm highlighting the last one, creative arts, painting, music, dancing. I used that in adapting a return to happiness curriculum for teachers, a support group, 6-week support group for teachers. We drew, we painted, well, I used pencil crayon. We did music. We did a session called Songs of Hope. Yes, there was a Return to Happiness program, but my young people said that this works. This works during a time of COVID. And so I have to learn from them, just highlighting the thriving students. Gabby Clark developed Bulletproof Kids during COVID. She did wonders. And so young people are thriving. But we have to understand, not all are traumatized. Not all are well at the same time. We have to appreciate where people are at and not tell people what they should be doing. Yeah? When it comes on to their mental wellness. Not everybody sees things the same way. So I'm here to tell you I'm finishing. I'm wrapping up. Thank you. I've gotten my time signal. All right? Stop worrying about what others think of you. If you're balanced, if you listen to people, if you maintain integrity and core values, you are okay. Yep. Don't be afraid of changing your mind. Don't be afraid of saying, I failed. Let me get up again. Okay? Don't fall for sunken cost fallacy. Get out of that ship. Don't go down with the sinking ship. Act with integrity and never lower yourself to the level of your critics. Yes, there might be people out there that are together, but I tell people all the time, I don't want them to say, you have to be careful, you have to counteract. I said, you're asking me to be like the person persecuting me? I'm sorry, I don't want it. I choose no. Because it's going to affect my mental health, and I know they have mental problems, right? So it's going to affect my mental health. So I choose to walk away. So I understand that. So be confident. Many days are wasted comparing yourself to others. Be you, your own unique you. You will succeed. And my what's this word? When I saw this story on Terry Carell's page, Instagram, I sent her a message and said, can I take this post? Because when I saw it, I was like, yes, if this lady can get up every morning with a different hat on the church in Zoom, I was like, hey, lady, I can do it too. People can be your mentor, right? And last slide, I leave you with my quote. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You're either planting flowers or you're watering weeds. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure Mrs. Solomon deserves a better appreciation than that. I know we are strapped for time, but do we have one person want to ask just one question? Pardon? Either.
One of the issues that we had as men is dealing with being locked up with our wife for days on top of days on top of days. That in itself, because we're not accustomed to it. Because remember what you said, we were not accustomed. I got up in the morning, hi wife, bye wife, she gone. But you wake up, oh, you're still here. And she said to me, when are you going to leave the house? Because we reach a point where women all say, you can't leave the house, because no, you leave the house. Too often you come in late. Till she asked me, when are you leaving? You're not going for what? Go look for your friend, no?
Trust me, I love this guy. And you know, I thought about approaching gender, and I was going to say, I was going to have a slide to say that one of my favorite pastimes is hanging out with men. Because men know how to let go stress. I can tell you that. And what is a favorite pastime? Maybe I shouldn't. You want to turn off the camera? My favorite pastime is shooting the breeze. Shooting the breeze is a politically correct term. But we like sit down and run bar and just chat. And we chat about anything. We don't chat about current events, or we could chat about the flowers not looking green anymore. Right? And men have this knack of not confining to a purpose of a conversation. So women aren't going to engage in a conversation until it's headed somewhere. Not true? Yeah. I'm afraid that's not answering your question, though. Right? But the thing is, if you appreciate gender differences, you will learn to not circumvent them, but manage them. So you can't change others. You have to change yourself. You have to change your expectations. That's true, right? But they can't change you either, right? They can't change you either. And because you have to stick to what I call remembering why you're there in the first place. Remembering the core of why I'm with this person. And I tell you, it's not only gender, because you have some females who feel the way you do. It's true? You have some females that feel the same way, right? You do. But remember why you're together. And remember, this too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Okay. I'm going to now invite Miss Terrian Chisholm from Monique College to make a presentation.
Mrs. Solomon, on behalf of the organizers and sponsors of this event, I wish to extend many thanks to you. We've been to many sessions like this, but this one I can genuinely take excellent, excellent, excellent in all the boxes. You have really laid out a feast for us, and you have reminded us to be mindful of our mental health. We will take everything, I will take everything that you have said to heart, and hopefully improve my mental health. My colleagues were down there looking around at me when you spoke about exercising. I don't know why, but maybe that is one of the things that I will turn to. I thank you so much. All right.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you again, everyone. And Dr. Paul Wilson,